Alright, so today I'm going to explain to you the hardships of becoming and being or staying a pitcher in the major leagues. So some of you may think that being a pro athlete is not that difficult, when in reality there's several difficulties. So yeah, I'll be telling you how becoming a pitcher is not that easy at all. So I happen to be a baseball player, and I have personal relationships with players. Some players have already been drafted. And then also I've seen through the media how life for these players is not easy and there's several difficulties. I have a friend, his name is James. He got drafted a couple years ago. So he's not playing, he lives in California, but he's not playing in California. He's actually playing in Seattle. So he's away from his family all the time. And so as you can imagine, it's hard being away from your family like that. So yeah, all of us have struggles in life and in finding a profession. Becoming a pitcher in the MLB can be considered one of the hardest because of many struggles that they deal with. So today I'll be discussing getting to the bigs and then staying there. I'll also be discussing the family separation, so you're apart from your family, and then also dealing with the physical part of it. So the first thing I would like to show you is the struggles baseball players have when constantly being apart from their family. And I have a video clip to show you. So before I play it, this is from the movie Moneyball, and it's about a guy. He's like the GM for the team, and he's away from his daughter, and so he's about to put in a song right now that his daughter made for him, and yeah.
Hey Dad, this is the song I told you I'd record. Please don't show it to anyone else. Let me know if you change your mind and stay in California. If not, you're a really great dad. I'm just a little bit caught in the middle. I keep maze and love is a riddle. I don't know where to go, can't do it alone. I try. And I don't know why, I'm just a little girl lost in the moment. I'm so scared, but I don't show it. I can't figure it out, it's bringing me down. I know I've got to let it go and just enjoy the show slowly.
Alright, I can't play the whole song for you because that would take too long. But, so what's happening is Billy Beane, which is his name in the movie, he has the choice of staying in Oakland, which is where his family is, or taking another job offer, which would get him a lot more money. And so his daughter made a song that would kind of help him make his decision. And so the whole time I was listening to this, he's thinking in his head, I don't want to leave my family, I don't want to leave my daughter and my wife. And so this is just one of the examples that baseball players have to deal with when being apart from their family. Another example that I tried to find was the movie The Rookie. He's like 40 years old, the main character, Dennis Quaid, and he's a pitcher, and it shows him, there's a scene when he's calling his daughter to help her with math, and then this happens a couple times, and he's just always away from his children, and so it's hard for him. And that's one of the struggles that several baseball pitchers have to deal with. And so, according to MLB.com, 81 of the Los Angeles Dodgers games were on the road last year, so that means that if they have family in Los Angeles, then they're going to be away. They'll be in other places. They're not going to be by their family and their children and wife or whatever. They're going to be able to watch them on TV. So this is hard for most players, which can even affect how they play in the game. So if there's any kind of family difficulties going on, then they'll be thinking about them when they're playing. For example, this is an example of one baseball player, Albert Pujols. He missed a game on September 19, 2012, and this is because his fifth child was being born, so he missed a game, and this is one of the difficulties that they have to deal with. So he's missing a game just for family problems like that. Another big struggle by far as a major league pitcher is getting to the major leagues. Not easy at all. There's tons of players, tons of pitchers that are trying to make it And then even when you get there, it's even harder to stay there because there's new players every single year that are being drafted and they're trying to take your spot. And so, yeah, there's 330 to 360 pitchers in the MLB, and that's just because I went on MLB.com and checked like the rosters, and I just added them all up for each team. Another main struggle that MLB pitchers deal with is injuries. One of the most, the worst injury you could get as a pitcher it's called Tommy John surgery, and this can happen anytime that you're throwing a ball. And where it's located is right here around your elbow. And when this happens to you, it can even end your career. That's how serious it is. And so, according to SportingNews.com, over 150 pitchers have already had this surgery, and there's a lot of them that have not come back from the surgery. And there's actually some pitchers, like Steven Strasburg, who's a pitcher for the Nationals, that he's actually been better since he came back from the surgery. So they're getting better with it. But before, when the surgery was new, there's lots of careers that ended because of it. All right, so hopefully by now you guys have gained some knowledge on how becoming a pitcher in MLB definitely comes with some hardships and staying there and having to deal with the family difficulties. So yeah, you're constantly away from your family. Several pitchers are dealing with injuries all the time, and it is extremely hard to make it to the major leagues and also stay there. So thank you for listening to me today, and if you're thinking about becoming an MLB pitcher now, you know some of the struggles they deal with. Thank you for your time.
Ben, what did you think?
He's not here, but I can do it.
You can step in?
Yeah.
Did you miss somebody? Oh, because Dre's not here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was awesome. I can relate to it a lot because I was on the East Coast to play baseball. So I know how it is to be away from your family and everything. So it was a good layout of the difficulties. I like how you cited the MLB. I wasn't too sure about the organization. It wasn't all that clear, but I liked the video and it was just a good presentation.
Okay, well, you basically don't have an attention device. You start with your purpose statement, and I think that you need to lead into that a little bit more, or as they might say, warm up before you start throwing your pitches. You have you do have a preview generally. It sounds like at one point that you're starting the preview, but you come back to it, and then you lay out the supporting points pretty well. So I think you've got a good structure for what you're going to talk about. But when you get in the body of the speech, you actually are talking about the separation issues first, and then you go backwards and go to talk about getting to the big leagues. And then so the setup is kind of inverse. Instead of starting with point 1, you started with point 2, and then go back to point 1, and then go to 3. So you've got it set up a little bit differently in the preview than you do in the body of the speech. In the body of the speech, though, you did signpost the points as you got to them. Sometimes they were a little awkwardly signed, but we could see them as you were talking about each of them. The supporting material, I think, is interesting. I can tell you're trying to find some stuff that really fits in with what you're talking about. Now, some personal experiences I think good to include. The first thing that I'm thinking of, though, is some of the people that you mentioned, they're not pitchers. So how is this unique to pitchers? This would be any baseball player would be faced with some of those problems about being away from home, getting to the big leagues, physical injury.